What is up, peeps? Hopefully you're all having an amazing day, because I am. Do you remember in Warzone 1 when every single person running a long-range AR or LMG was using the VLK? Well, that is not the case in Warzone 2.0. So what we're going to be testing today is going to be testing the 4 different kinds of Acog scope in this game. We're going to be testing the recoil to see if there's any difference, the visual recoil, and at the end, what is the best scope to use if you want to use something of an Acog scope, let's say for your assault rifle or for your LMG. Let's jump right into this video. And as well, special shout out to my newest members who give me a huge extra support to the channel. And you can become one for as low as 99 cents a month. Link is in the description. So we're going to be using the RPK again to test it out because it is still the most used long-range weapon in the game. As you guys can see, we have one, which is the VLK, and it is a 4x scopes. Then we got the Schlager 3.4x, and then we got the Forge Stack Delta. This is a 5.5x, almost reaching the sniper category, but not yet. And then we got the last one, which is the Cronin 0P Optic, which gives us 5x. And as you guys can see, all of these, just do be aware, will give you a very small sniper glint. But let's jump into the testing, with the first one being the VLK 4.0 Optic again, which was the most popular in Warzone 1. So again, we got our gun, we got the optic, and again, we're going to be doing 2 tests, just blasting 10 meters out. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one that we're going to be testing is actually one that I use the most, and it's the Schlager 3.4x. This is the one with the least amount of zoom, so it should have the least amount of visual recoil. So let's go ahead and test it out. And again, make sure we are 10 meters out. The recoil patterns definitely do seem a little bit different. Let's keep on testing with the next one. Moving on to the next one, we got the Forge Stack Delta, which is almost a sniper scope, but it is a 5.5 magnification. So definitely pretty zoomed in compared to the other one. Looks like the Schlager, but again, just without the as much magnification. So let's go ahead and test it out. You can tell this one definitely does have a lot more visual recoil. I mean, just because of the way it zooms in. And let's go with our last one. With the last one, just a little bit less than the one we tested. It is going to be a 5.x scope on this one, and go ahead and test it out 10 meters out. This was a little bit chunkier on the sides, as you guys can see there. And again, it does feel a little bit bouncy compared to the other ones. So now let's get a little bit of a close-up so we can see exactly what happened between these. So again, I'll be putting these scopes down below so you guys can see what is up. But as we can see, definitely the first two had significantly less visual recoil. I mean, just by the testing, again, the less amount of zoom, the less visual recoil you will have. But from my feeling, I do think the VLK still had the best feel in the way that the reticle moves, that it just felt nice and clean compared to the other ones. But as we can see with the recoil, the 3.4x, again, it could have just been the first test that just, got a couple of shots overboard, but it does seem to be that the vertical recoil is about the same in all of them, but it does seem that the 3.4 is straighter. We can definitely tell that the VLK has a little bit more curvature, right? A lot more horizontal recoil. And so do the other ones. I mean, even all the other scopes, except that 3.4x scope, it doesn't seem to have that much of a curve to it. So the next test that we're going to be going into is going to be testing me actually trying to control the recoil with the VLK and the 3.4x, because I do think the other ones are just way too zoomed in to use. I mean, even if the recoil is technically still the same, I still do think that the 5.x and the 5 was just way too zoomed in again, and you just get a lot of visual recoil. So definitely do not go to those ones. So let's go with the next test. So again, here we have it, clean slate. And again, we're going to be trying to control the recoil actually in this one, where we're going to be able to tell how that visual recoil actually affects. Now, I do like the VLK, but as you guys can see, the sights are a little bit too thick. But nevertheless, let's start with this test. And again, just do remember, this RPK does not have any attachments. The only thing that it has is the the magazine that it has. All right, let's move on with the next one. All right, we got the next one, which is the 3.4x, and I love this one. It just feels nice and clean, but let's go ahead and test it out. So now after testing both of them, I mean, I think I'm going to test the other one just to see the difference between the visual recoil, but let me jump into that. And just the last one that I'm going to be testing, it is going to be this one, the 5.0. I'm not going to be testing the 5.1 because I definitely do think that one is just a little too zoomed in. But as you guys can see there, just the visual recoil is significantly more with this one. Again, compared to the other ones, you can just see the reticle bouncing in. The recoil control is going to be the same, right? I mean, if you guys can see there, if you got pretty good recoil control, when you can actually tell, is there really not much of a difference. I mean, you're going to control the recoil the same. But it's that visual that just when you shoot this way too zoomed in, you feel like it's moving all over the place. So as far as it goes for which one is better in my personal preference, I am going to have to say with the 3.4, I just do think that the visual recoil is pretty similar to the VLK. I mean, almost identical, but I do love the visibility that you get with the 3.4 Schlager scope because that one's just nice and thin on the outside. The reticle is super clean, and just compared to the VLK, I feel the VLK is a little bit too fat on the outsides. And sometimes you do get that issue where an enemy is right there and you don't see him. So I do like my scopes nice and clean. And again, for that, I am going to choose that. But again, as far as is there any difference or any special hidden recoil control? Not really. It's all going to come down to personal preference on which one do you think is going to be the best one for you, again, based on what it looks like and the visual recoil. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for me. Peace out, and I will see you all on the next one.